Hi everyone, I'm Lin and now I'm going to explain the nature and importance of control. Firstly, what is controlling? It is the process of monitoring, comparing, and correcting work performance. Our managers should control even if their units are performing as planned, because they can't really know that unless they have evaluated what activities have been done and compare actual performance against the desired standard. Why is control so important? First reason is planning. Controls let managers know whether their goals and plans are on target and what future action to take. Empowering employees is the second reason. Control systems provide managers with information and feedback on employee performance. And the third reason is protecting the workplace. Controls enhance physical security and help minimize workplace disruption. Next, I will describe the three steps in controls process. A three-step process of measuring actual performance, comparing actual performance against the standard, and taking managerial action to correct deviations or inadequate standards. In step 1, measuring actual performance. What is measured is probably more critical to the control process than how it's measured. Why? Because selecting the wrong criteria can create serious problems. Besides, what is measured often determines what employee will do. Most work activities can be expressed in quantifiable terms. However, managers should use subjective measures when they can't. And though such measures may have limitations, they are better than having no standard at all and doing no controlling. Step 2. Comparing actual performance against the standard. Determining the degree of variation between actual performance and the standard. Range of variation. The acceptable parameters of variance between actual performance and the standard. And the last step, step 3, taking managerial action. Immediate corrective action. Corrective action that corrects problem at once in order to get performance back on track. And basic corrective action. Corrective action that look at how and why performance deviated before correcting the source of deviation.
So let's move to the learning objective number 3. What is organizational performance? So the performance is the end of result of an activity and whether that activity is hours of intense practice before a concert or race, or whether it is carrying out job responsibilities as efficiently and effectively as possible. So the performance is what results from that activity. So managers are concerned with organizational performance, the accumulated results of all organizational work activities. So it is a multifaceted concept, but managers need to understand the factors that contribute to organizational performance. So productivity is the amount of goods or services produced divided by the inputs needed to generate the output. So organizations and individual work units want to be productive. They want to produce the most goods and services using the list of inputs. So output is measured by the sales revenue or an organization receives when goods are sold. And the input is measured by the cost of acquiring and transforming resources into outputs. So the organizational effectiveness is a measure of how appropriate organizational goals are and how well those goals are met. So that's the bottom line for managers, and it's what guides managerial decisions in designing strategies and work activities and in conditioning the work of employees. So rankings are a popular way for managers to measure their organization's performance. And there is not a shortage of these rankings are as exhibit 18.7 shows. So rankings are determined by specific performance measures which are different for each list. So it's particularly important for managers to deliver effective performance feedback and to be prepared, if needed, to use disciplinary actions taken by a manager to enforce the organization's work standards or regulation. We like to know how we are doing. Managers need to provide their employees with feedback so that the employees know where they stand in terms of their working. When giving performance feedback, both parties need to feel heard, understood, and respected, and if done that way, positive outcomes can result. And now we will move to the learning objective number 4 about tools for measuring organizational performance. So the most desirable type of control feed-forward control. So prevents problems because it takes place before the actual activity. The key for feed-forward control is lacking managerial action before the problem occurs. So that way, problems can be prevented rather than having to correct them after any damage. So like poor quality products, lost customers, lost revenue, and so on. So that has already been done. And concurrent control, as its name implies, takes place while a work activity is in progress. And the best known form of concurrent control is direct supervision. So another term of its management by working around, which is when manager is in the work area interacting directly with employees. So the most popular type of control relies on feedback. So in feedback control, the control takes place after the activity is done. So feedback controls have two advantages. First, feedback gives managers meaningful information on how effective their planning efforts were. And feedback that show little variance between standard and actual performance indicates that the planning was generally on target. And second, feedback can enhance motivation. People want to know how well they are doing, and feedback provides that information. Next, we have information controls. In measuring actual performance, managers need information about what is happening within their area of responsibility and about the standards in order to be able to compare actual performance with the standard. So a manager information system, in short, is MIS, is a system used to provide managers with needed information on a regular basis. In theory, this system can be manual or computer-based, although most organizations have moved to computer-supported applications. So the term system in MIS implies order, agreement, and purpose. Further, MIS focuses especially on providing channel managers with information and not merely data. And the Palin scored approach is a way to evaluate organizational performance from more than just the finance perspective. So the Palin scorecard typically looks at 4 areas that contribute to a company performance: financial, customer, internal processes, and people or innovation growth assets. So according to this approach, managers should develop goals in each of the 4 areas and then measure whether the goals are being met. So finally, we have benchmarking of best practice. So benchmarking is the search for the best practices among competitors or non-competitors that lead to their superior performance. So benchmarking should identify various benchmarks and the standards of excellence against to which measure and compare. But sometimes the best practices can be found inside the organization and just need to be shared. Like in this slide, it provides some suggestions for internal benchmarking.
To answer the questions in this case application, top secret. So the first question is Visa being overly cautious? Why or why not? And why is this level of controls necessary? So my answer is no, Visa certainly is not being overly cautious in its fortification of its data center. Security breaches are certainly on the uprise and becoming more commonplace each and every day. Moreover, when one considers the sheer number of transactional events which Visa is processing every day, let alone the statistics denoting the number of transactions it is accounting for each second, it becomes clear that the likelihood of it encountering some fraudulent attempt or breach is greater than that of other financial institutions. In this case, it would be foolish to opine that the company is being overly cautious. Rather, it is simply preparing itself for the realities of today's financial industry. And this level of management controls is necessary because of all the various threats financial entities are prone into in contemporary times. These include ransomware, malware, and other number of fraudulent activities. Additionally, it is necessary to implement these controls physically, such as fortifying its compound and conducting its share of due diligence on visitors, so that there are no internal security breach, which does occur. And the next question is, which controls would be more important to Visa? Feed forward, concurrent, or feedback? And my answer is is feedback. These controls provide insight into events that have happened, transactions that have taken place, and other forms of activity which have transpired. It is pivotal for this organization to know the ramification of these things, which is possible with feedback controls. And the last question is, what other managerial controls might be useful to the company? Um, Other managerial controls of benefit for Visa could include exceedingly stringent methods for checking the background of employees, both those whom actually hire and those who are not. A silent financial organization such as Visa could very well encounter corporate spies and other personages who would attempt to discern the workings of its data center for illicit use. And that's the end of my presentation.
Now we will discuss the case of Starbucks in practice 5. Uh, the first question, the survey made by the company from the year 2005 was surprising for me because the response of the survey conducted in year 2003 was only 46% and it increased to 64% in the year 2009. The partners remained quite active for the survey conducted in the year 2010. So the response is surprising and giving the results each time. The partners said that they were satisfied and very satisfied. Um, so should be given a chance to impress their opinions. The responses of the survey can be made more effective by adopting these means, celebrating the achievement to motivate the employees, providing effective coaching, proper channel at feedbacks, improvement of communications with partners. So
The second question, the answer is that the managers, he heard the good and the bad stuff of the partners experienced and were feeling. Like the shoots, he go to other country and then he listened to the bad experience, the good experience of the partners in other country, and it helps the managers to know what other partners are feeling. It was a good parameter of gauging employee attitudes after a difficult time of transition and transformation for the company. Earlier partner surveys have provided relevant and important clues to employee attitudes.
Hi Sky, today I will talk about the Starbucks. All manager plans. The planning they do may be extensive or it may be limited. It might be for next week or month or it might be for next couple of years. It might cover a work group or it might cover an entire division or the entire organization. No matter what type or extent of planning a manager does, the important thing is that planning takes place. Without planning, there will be nothing for managers to organize, lead, or control. Based on Starbucks' numerous achievements, they know that managers have done their planning. About the company strategy, Starbucks has been called for the most dynamic retail brand over the last 2 decades. It has been able to rise above the commodities nature of its product and become a global brand leader by reinventing the coffee experience. Over 60 million times a week, a customer receives a product from Starbucks partner. It's a reflection of the success that Howard School has had in creating something that never really existed in the United States, cafe life. And in so doing, he created a cultural phenomenon. Starbucks is changing what we eat and drink. It is shaping how we spend our time and money. About the organization is an important task of managers. Once the organization goals and plans are in place, the organizing functions set in motion the process of seeing that the goals and plans are pursued. When managers organize, they are defining what work needs to get done and creating a structure that enables work activities to be complete efficiently and effectively by organizational members hired to do that work. About the structuring Starbucks, like many start business, Starbucks original founder organized their company around a simple structure based on each person's unique strength. As Starbucks grew to the point where Cherry recognized that he needed to hire professional and experienced managers, Howard School joined the company, bringing his skill in sales, marketing, and marketing. When the original owner eventually sold the company to School, he was able to take the company on the path of becoming what is it today and what it hopes to be in the future. As Starbucks has expanded, its organizational structure has changed in accommodate that growth. However, the company prides itself on its lean corporate structure. Howard School is at the top of structure and have focused on hiring a team of executives from companies like Nestle, Procter and Gamble, Kobe, Microsoft, and PepsiCo. School realize how important it was to have an executive team in place that had experience in running divisions or functions of larger companies, and that's what he focused on bringing into Starbucks. The senior corporate officers include the following: six offering 7 executive vice residents, 3 group, 2 managing director, and several partners. About people management and Starbucks. Starbucks recognized that it had been able to accomplish it due to the people it hires. When you have talented and committed people offering their ideas and expertise, success will follow. Since the beginning, Starbucks has tried to be an employer that nurtures employees and gives them opportunity to grow and be challenged. The company says it's a pro partner and has always been committed to provide a flexible and progressive work environment and treating one another with respect and dignity. That's all. Thank you for your listening.